Hey there everybody, it's Mike Delisio with another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at the reprint slash update of Smartphone Inc. from Cosmodrome Games, now being brought over by Arcane Wonders, and it is, as you can see here, the newest in the Dice Tower Essentials line. 1 to 5 players in about 90 minutes. Smartphone Inc. is a game that came out in a very limited capacity a couple of years ago. It's a game that I have a tremendous amount of fondness for, and this is going to be kind of the updated version. They've changed a bit of the components. They've added some extra tiles and things along those lines, but I won't know exactly what we've got until we crack in. So let's take a look inside the box and see what this new version of Smartphone Inc. has to offer. Now, I do want to point out here, as you can see, that this has some Kickstarter exclusive material inside. So depending on whether you get it retail or Kickstarter, you may not necessarily see everything that's inside this box, okay? And here it has a thank you for being the Kickstarter, okay? So, update 1.1 is, I believe, the expansion, okay? So there's some expansion material in here, and this is the rule book for that. You've got some new directives. You've got a 2 to 3 player board, which is very different because the first game played up to 5, and you would play all player counts from 1 to 5 on the same board. This is a board that is specifically designed for smaller player counts. And we've got new technologies, which is going to add to the replayability of the game quite a bit, I would imagine. And they've got some recommended technology sets, which is nice. And then you've got hardcore mode rules, okay, which is going to change up a little bit how the phases work. Here's the AI rulebook for Steve, that AI opponent that causes all kinds of issues if you're trying to play it solo. All right, and here is the standard Smartphone Inc. rulebook. And it goes through the components here and the setup. This is for Steve. If you're going to be playing with Steve, you would pay attention to that. Otherwise, you go to preparing for the game. And then you've got player preparation. And if you're playing a 2 to 4 player game, you place these retailers out there on the board, which basically change up some of the spots and tightens up the map a little bit for you to include those. And then the gameplay, and it's going to go through the different phases. There's 5 rounds and 8 phases, and you go through those 8 phases in order 5 times. And whoever made the most money from selling, not necessarily selling the most phones, but making the most money while selling their phones is going to win, because it's not necessarily always the person that sells the most phones that wins. Okay? And it looks like they've added quite a bit in the descriptions for this in the rule book. The first rule book was fine, but maybe some things were a little bit ambiguous. I haven't read through this yet, obviously, but it does look like there's a lot more description in this rule book. So they've probably taken some feedback from people that had questions, and they've even added a frequently asked questions in there as well. All right, very nice. We've got an achievement list here, which you can use. This is Steve. All right, there's, I think one side is Steve. Yeah, this is Steve's board, I believe, yeah. Okay, here's the score track. We've got our player screens here, the different companies, and your helpful multiplications table on the back, which you oftentimes might need for figuring out how much you're making off of selling your phones. Here are some of the technologies, and these are double-sided. All right. They have different abilities depending on which side you place up. All right, here is the, I believe, 5-player, or yeah, the regular board, I guess. This is a large board, as you can kind of see here, and it is also dual layered. I'm going to see if this is as far out as it can. Yeah, this is as zoomed out as it can get, but I'll give you an idea at least, okay? So these are dual layered boards in that you place pieces in here and cubes right here. Okay. That's the standard board. Here would appear to be the 2 to 3 player board. Quite a bit smaller. All right, that one can get all on camera. And you can see the changes that are obviously made. It's a smaller board, fewer places for putting your phones out, and fewer of those available for you. Okay. Got some cardboard components here, which are, these are things that you can add to your player mats when you're programming your actions per round. We've got little minis, which are new. So you can place your player color here on these minis. That's kind of cool. Those weren't there before in the first edition of the game. We've got a lot of cardboard components here. These are the player pads, which you're going to use. You're going to have 2 of them, and you're going to layer them over each other to program your actions for that round, or for that, that whole round. Okay. These are new. I'm assuming those are part of the directives. These are also things you can add to your pads to change up your potential actions. These are the retailers here. These are these new directives, which I'm going to try to open these up. Show you some of those. Discard 4 or more unsold phones in 1 round. So it looks like these are all different kind of things you can be trying to accomplish. Receive 40 or more VP in 1 round. Okay. Interesting. These are your player pads. You, double-sided, can place them in such a way that at least one square is being overlapped. And this is how you're going to choose what actions you're going to be doing in that particular round, and you may get other things that you can add to kind of change that up a bit. And then looks like we've got player trays for each player, and I'm going to attempt to get those out in a moment. It's tightly packed. Here, first of all, are some plastic components in the player colors. So you've got Steve here, and you've got these progress markers that look like little stairs, and you've got these buildings, and the cubes are phones. All right, these are much more rounded from the original. The first edition had kind of sharp edges and corners on them, and these are quite a bit more pleasant to the touch. Okay, and you've got these in the different player colors. Okay, all these translucent plastic pieces. Very, very nice. Okay. And each player is going to have their own tray where they can keep these plastic pieces in the corresponding areas, and also it looks like a place to keep your tiles, which are nice. These are either production tiles or tiles that you can add onto your pads to add for your actions. All right, well, a whole lot in the box here, quite a bit more than in the original box. That gives you a good idea of what you're going to find inside the new edition of Smartphone Inc. Thank you for watching another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing.